The night the unthinkable happened, Bird woke to the sound of fevered laughter and their own desperate gasps for air. As their dreams brushed against reality, they could have sworn they were choking, their own wild heart trying to clamber up their throat and into their mouth. As dreams do, the sensation faded, and Bird was left with only the laughter outside their bedroom window and a pit in their stomach. They threw away the age-softened blanket and tugged their legs to their chest, pressing their sweat-damp forehead to their knees in a bid to recalibrate to the waking world and their body. Cool air, heavy with a stale residue of incense and the all-natural deodorant that clung to their soft palate, nipped at their ears and stamped goose flesh across their skin. Fingers, toes, thick with pins and needles. Heartbeat. There you are, you. Drumming beneath their temples. Bird had never been a stranger to nightmares, though these unsettling dreams had become increasingly unrelenting in recent months. Perhaps that was no surprise, considering how unsettling their everyday had become in tandem. In fact, for that very reason, bedroom window was hardly an apt description for the divide between their bed and the revelers outside. When Bird finally lifted their head, it was to squint at the tiny panel of cloudy glass embedded at the rear of their mother's camper. Beneath it, their twin-sized cot with its inch-thick foam mattress had been propped open, the same cot Bird had slept in for most of their childhood, and a place they'd once planned to never sleep again. At least this time they'd been generously allowed something resembling a wall, a faded old bedsheet strung up from the ceiling to act as a curtain between their corner and the rest of the makeshift home. If Bird didn't know better, they'd think its threadbare state a personal slight, the pettiest of little revenges for daring to leave in the first place. But the fact that they could still see every twinkling fairy light and abandoned candle on the other side wouldn't have been flagged as a problem to their mother, even if she had noticed. They pressed their knuckles into their eyes as if to rub away the dogged tendrils of sleep or the steadily encroaching headache. When someone gave a delirious shriek from the campground and sent a spike of pain through Bird's eardrums and into their limbic system, they accepted defeat. They fumbled in the dark for their phone before their fingers tightened around cool metal and tugged it free of its charger. Air hissed through their teeth at the burning light of the home screen, eyes struggling to adjust. 11:43 p.m. Nearly midnight, and the lunar festivities refused to be quelled. Bird couldn't even remember if it was a new moon or a full moon they were dancing under. In either case, it would do no good to try and convince anyone to keep the volume down. If they so much as asked, Bird would only be teased for being a stick in the mud,